Another man, philosopher that I followed so much, Franz Fanon, viewed on it to say that the hottest place in hell is for that man or that woman who, when issues of rectitude, or in this case, how society will be seen as egalitarian, is discussed, the person decides to sit on the fence. I don't want to be a candidate of that hellfire, as propounded by Franz Fanon. The same Franz Fanon went ahead to say that every generation has a vision. You either uphold it or you betray it. So my own mission is to ensure that I uphold the mission of my generation. And I'm called here to speak about my state. My state has been locked in unnecessary political imbroglio, orchestrated by a man who necessarily and ordinarily should have held the reins because he was so elected, the governor of Rivers State, Governor Joseph Fubara. I said the political crisis is unnecessary because just 6 months after he was elected into office, one would be wondering what his fears were when he masterminded, orchestrated the burning of our iconic structure, our iconic edifice, the Rivers State House of Assembly edifice. Because maybe he thought that the legislature inheres in building. A little would he know that building is not the legislature. The legislature is in the people who are elected to do the business of legislation. In particular, that's why you can see an assembly meeting somewhere else apart from whatever structure you build, provided that the symbol of authority called the mace is there. So I'm sure he didn't know that much. A few days after he burned the assembly, they went and got a judgment, an order, ex parte order for that matter, advising himself to go and pull down an assembly complex. For him again, I said, so that the assembly members will not have a place to sit. On that same day, he had to go to present a budget, so to speak, he said so, to 4 assembly members, an assembly of 31 members. He went to present a budget to 4 assembly members and concluded that he had done so. And the speed that it was even faster than the speed of light at which the budget that the state will run, the speed at which it was passed. It's almost the same day. You and I will know that it's unthinkable. Lawmaking, process of lawmaking, we all know, first reading, second reading, committee stage. The budget is a law to be made. And so those processes must be complete. But they rushed through it with their wishy-washy approach and said they had done budget presentation and passing. And here he had assented the signature to a document that never is. So now he had compounded the problem in the state. You know, I speak to you as chairman of APC River State, and it is within my powers to say so. Because as a leader of a vocal opposition in River State, my duty is to mirror critically the government of the day. Because we necessarily will become the voice of the voiceless. Our people are groaning, our people are crying. But do they have the platform that we have? The answer is no. And somebody must speak for them. That's why I commend the PDP people, the Governors Forum of PDP the other day. They were critical. They said, oh, the APC government is not working well. And they suggested that APC government at the center should sit up. It's nice. That is what democracy is all about. Democracy is not about praise singing. It's not about eulogies or raining accolades on leadership. No, at least not the type that I know. So I speak as chairman of APC Rivers State and being critical of a government that is comatose, a government that is clueless, a government that is rudderless. And it's painful. It's very, very painful that a state as all important as Rivers State were drifting to abysmal oblivion because of cluelessness of somebody who we elected to be governor of the state. And so some of us will not keep quiet, else the state will go to the dungeon, or not. Now, at the height of the political crisis, which he machinated, which the governor himself orchestrated, they started himself and few of them who are around him got Mr. President to intervene in the matter. And Mr. President, as busy as his schedules are, called the Rivers people, stakeholders, crucial stakeholders of Rivers State, including the governor and the assembly members and the former minister and a whole lot of us. I was in that meeting. I'm sure you would have seen that proclamation document. You would have seen my name there, Chief Tony Okocha, Chairman APC Rivers. It's there. I made a copy available to your coordinator. Maybe she will print out and show to you. I was in the meeting with Mr. President, where the president took a swipe at the governor, ab initio, and said to him that he affronted democracy. You assaulted democracy, Mr. Governor. And as president, I have two sticks to wield. It's either the stick approach or the carrot approach. But I won't use the stick. I'm here to counsel you. I'm an elder statesman. I work for this democracy. I prayed for democracy. Okay? I fasted. I danced. I talked. And it is my duty as president to protect the democracy that you wanted to throw away, throw to the dust. And the president, in a very serene environment, I'm talking about the villa, a hall there at the villa, to tell you how the president, how he wanted the matter to go. He refused pressmen from entering. He refused anything called security, so that nobody will cry that the environment was not congenial. And he said to us that after the meeting, that he will be the one to send the outcome of the meeting to the press. So nobody was under any duress. Nobody was under any undue influence. And nobody had, again, undue advantage. So it was a serene environment, and we talked. And at the end of that meeting, the president said that he had a proclamation to make. And gentlemen of the press, you and I know what the powers of the president is. You know that a proclamation has the force of a law. Proclamations are made to douse emergencies. Proclamations are made to save the sovereignty and integrity of a people. Take, for instance, a war period. I was talking with somebody yesterday, and I said, your house, a beautiful public facility is burning. Take a school is on fire, and within that premises there is a butcher belonging to somebody. That's where the person and his family lives. And to help quench that fire, that butcher must go down. So will you not say because you are infringing, you will infringe on the owners of that butcher? You infringe on their rights. You will not allow that edifice for public utility to get burnt. The answer is no. So when you take a decision ensuring that, directing that that butcher should go down, so that you save that scenario, you didn't do no wrong. is an emergency case. In an emergency case, the president's power is elastic. So the Rivers State was drifting to a crisis. We were drifting to an emergency state. It was within the power of the president to say, okay, I declare state of emergency. It's within his power. But he said, no, let me cancel everybody. At the end of that meeting, 8 points were raised in what we now all of us now call the president's proclamation document. And the issues were clear. The president said to the governor, allow the House of Assembly to perform their functions unfettered. Don't interfere. Whatever they have, they should get. Allow them get. All matters in court, withdraw. Okay? Conduct local government election. I don't want to hear any other nomenclature within local government setting, because it's in itself an aberration. Supreme Court has pronounced severally on the nomenclature that is acceptable within the third tier of governance, and that is local government. The president has said in that proclamation, present your budget to an assembly led by Honorable Martin, Right Honorable Martins Amehule, who leads 26 other members. We have an assembly of 32. We lost one to death, so we have 31 functionals. That as far as he is concerned, there was no such thing as presentation. Gentlemen of the press, can we, for any reason or by any means, justify the governor's action in presenting, I use the word advisedly, presenting a budget to a four-man assembly when you have 31, not that they are dead, not that they are under suspension. In the first place, 4 members of an assembly of 31 cannot also convene, because the law is clear, it has to be 1/3. 1/3 of 31, is 10. So how do you convene 4 persons and you go there and say you have presented budget? It's like putting something on nothing. The president said, present the budget to an assembly. And so forth and so on. 8 points. Now what the governor is doing, he is cherry picking. And is boasting that he will disobey Mr. President. And I cannot be chairman of a political party that the president himself candidated upon to see a governor blatantly, brazenly boast that he would disobey Mr. President. And the issue again is, what is the difficulty in the governor? What difficulty does he find or does he have in presenting that same budget that he claimed to have presented to 4, in presenting to 27 assembly members? They are waiting for him. They have written him severally. It means, of course, it goes to confirm our apprehensions. It goes to confirm our fears that he has something he is hiding, that he doesn't want the assembly members to see. Otherwise, what is there? You have a paper already. Okay, assuming he doesn't even want to go, I don't know whether the law permits him. He could send somebody to go and make presentation on his behalf. The deputy governor can represent him. We have done so when I was serving as chief of staff to the governor of the state. We had a supplementary budget to present. The governor was unavailable. He did tell the deputy governor and us to go to assembly to make the presentation in his stead. And it was allowable by law. Now he has blatantly refused to present a budget. And he's running the state without a budget. So I speak about his financial profligacies. His profligates. What we see in this River State, after the billions of naira that has accrued to the state, both from internally generated revenue and from FAC, net allocation from FAC, is what you see every day. If you tune the television, I'm sure some of you as media practitioners will see. People are protesting on the streets or processing on the streets. Oh, we are supporting SYMFONI Fubara. Over who? Is he contesting presidential election? He just was elected 6 months ago. So what are you protesting? Processing on the streets for? That's what the man uses our money to do, to fund those kind of rubbish. He has formed a political party in Rivers State called Asawana Political Party. Perhaps he wants to be president of Nigeria. Or president, no, president, well, maybe the Asawana will expand. So that is the problem that we have in Rivers State, and that will require Nigerians to take a second look. Because Rivers State is just a sub-nation. Okay? Anything that happens there will be cited as a reference point. And I worry that at the level of Mr. President, who is #1 citizen of this country, taking a decision on matters, the governor is for dragging. He's choosing the one to do and the one not to do, and is boasting that he will not. And the next thing you hear, he funds a group or some people that are going to court, they are elders of party, they are this and that. Do you take away the powers of the president? Who does that? So I'm here to address you, to say to you that Rivers State is sitting on the keg of gunpowder. And that's the slightest spark of fire. That state, as beautiful as it is, might go into flames. And that it is the governor himself who ordinarily is saddled with the responsibility of protecting lives and property in the state that should necessarily be the one to broach unity and peace. But converse is the case. He's the one threatening brimstone and fire, making the whole place ungovernable, preparing himself to the financial profligacies that are going on. Rivers State has received from June 22nd, that was his first FAC meeting, from June 22nd till the last month. I'll give you the figures. FAC receipts over 200 billion. Rivers State generates 12 billion naira internally generated every month. But let's keep it at conservatively 10 billion. And for this number of months, nothing is tangible to be touched. Nothing is tangible to be seen. Nothing is even intangible, other than monies are fluffed, given to I don't want to use the word miscreant, but given to jobbers, political contractors. Their business is gather the young men, take advantage of the poverty in the land, give them to 2,000, and what you see here, now you will know. That's what happens in Rivers State. Even the low-hanging fruits, which are projects that the former governor left for him to make him shine, he couldn't. He's not even able to complete. One project that is against his name is a ring road. The issue of the ring road had been completed before he emerged as governor. Ring road that will traverse about 7 local governments in the state. Granted. I was there the day that project was flagged off. And he told us that the money for that project, will be paid from money generated from internal IG and internally generated revenue. And that's it. None other. What you hear, when we started being curious and telling the world that they are eating the money, they are fluffing the money, they started coming out to say, the governor is doing internal rules. Gentlemen of the press, I was chief of staff to a governor, 2012 to 2015. Last month, I attracted internal roads in my community under Governor Wike. And I know how much that road cost. 17 roads. 17. I know how much. My friend, we're talking about 200 and something billion. Yeah, telling me about a project of 2 billion. In how many communities is it doing that? So they are trying to look for cover. And the other ones they will tell you is, he has completed this. Look, that project you hear that he has completed, they didn't even say he started. We're 97% completed. In fact, a government that wants to be funny, of course, it's typical of our people. We'll go ahead and commission such projects. 97% completion, what is remaining? But in the spirit of goodwill, the success or the predecessor say, okay, I'll leave this for you. Come and shine with it. Did you hear anything about Rivers in 100 days? When they say, oh, 100 days in office, did you see anywhere in television or in television where Rivers celebrated 100 days in office? The projects were there, but cluelessness was the bane. So, gentlemen, the summary of it all is that Nigerians should know that the leadership, the governor of Rivers State, does not mean well for the state. Because if a governor whose responsibility is to protect the lives and property, to which he swore to, is the same person unleashing mayhem, is the same person orchestrated mischief, then something is wrong. And if a government that has received this much is unable to show what they have done, and we keep quiet. I told you here that I started on the philosophy that evil thrives in societies because just people decide to be quiet and do nothing. I will not sit down to do nothing. In my personal recess, privately, I'm speaking before national television. I had accosted the governor in a polite manner. We worked together in government. As chief of staff, I mean, he was a staff of the Ministry of Finance. And we had a lot to do because his office had a lot to do with my office. So I know him like I know my name. So I accosted him in a friendly manner, not in his office, one-on-one. And I told him, my dear friend, the way you are going is not the path to peace. Now, take again that the president at his own level jettisoned his busy schedules, took us for over 1 hour, and came out with the result. Thank you, my friend added and reminded me. The president said, speak. All of you who has anything to say. He was the first. I said, oh, Mr. President, I thank you for this environment. Thank you for all the things you have done. I have always assured you that whatever it is that you say, I will do. The only request the governor made before the president that day and for Rivers people was, please, those who were on my side on this matter should not be victims or turned victims. They should not be victimized. That was the only plea he made. So he didn't say that there was any issue there that was not, that he was not in sync with. He didn't. He said everything. And he was the first to sign that paper. He was the first to sign. So now the problem we have, or the way forward, is that the governor should close his ears. I advised him to close his ears to mediocres. He should close his ears to fifth columnists whose business is pecuniary. Their interest is pecuniary, to line their pockets. Those who tell him, oh, you are governor, your powers are elastic, and then the man's head becomes bigger than his pillow, are his bane. So he must beat a retreat and say to them that, look, I have a mandate of my people. You beat a retreat. Now, my friend asked, somebody asked, what should I be advising the president? Look, in diplomacy, there are two sticks. We have said so. The stick and the carrot. The president had decided to dangle the carrot. The stick might be a last resort. But there are some climes where the president would have used the stick. Nothing will happen. It's within his own law. It is, his own power. If you are not satisfied with that, you go to court. But within the period you are in court, there's a different thing. Already, you're only now going as a plaintiff. Okay? So I will not advise the president yet to wield the stick by maybe declaring the state of emergency. I will not do so because I'm a statesman too. I know the difference between a democracy and a militocracy. Okay, so I will not. But to still advise the governor that it's like when the Supreme Court makes pronouncement, if you are not comfortable with it, you can only appeal to God. There's nowhere else you can go to. So on this matter, he cannot cherry pick. You see what he is doing? He's going against the laws of the land, ignoring the State House of Assembly. It's gotten to the point where the State House of Assembly now overrides him. The law allows so. I work with NDDC. I'm a member of the governing board today by special grace of God. And I know that NDDC was established by an act of parliament. When the president refused to sign, the National Assembly brought back the bill and proclaimed it to law. Today, NDDC is not functioning since 2000. So now it is gotten to the point where the governor has lost it. And Assembly, the State House of Assembly, is now invoking their powers as contained in the law to override the governor. There are 4 laws made in the interest of the state. He refused to assent to them. So they had called back and look at the mistake again, the one that will kill us. I'm sorry to use that word. The governor, in his bid to seek for clout, in his bid to curry favor unnecessarily, had met with local heads of local government, treasurers and all that, and ordered that a minimum wage of 30,000 be paid to local government staff, and that promotions and all that should be effected immediately. Nobody is against. If you are in a career, civil service, for instance, even if you are employed to be level 2, your dream is to get to your apogee point. So nobody will suggest or support that anybody is stagnated. It's a good idea. Nigerians even need more than, if a local government worker need more than 30,000 naira as minimum wage, they do know, they do need. Looking at the situation, we find out. But the problem is, what was the process? The managers of the local government are local government chairmen. They were elected. You go and talk with civil servants, and then you make news out of it, without even a second information to the local government chairman, who will put their green pen to it, and you think it will work? Now, if by end of the month, local government chairman refuse to implement, the 23 local governments, the workers in 23 local governments will take to the streets. Isn't that enough mayhem? Who is causing it? Meanwhile, the 23 local government chairmen are members of his own party. They are all PDP members. So what was the fear? If he says, oh, assembly members have defected to APC, which is within their rights, and you may not have good relationship with them, how about the local government chairmen? They are all 23, all of PDP. You didn't talk to them. And if you were in if you were in their shoes, man, I have been local government chairman. I have. You can't give what you don't have. The Latin man cause says is nemo dat quid non habet. You can't give what you don't have. Nemo dat quid non habet. You don't give what you don't have. In law, they call it the principle of Nemo. He's about to give what he does not have. What was his interest? To curry favor. Then people say, because when you're earning 5,000, say, give people that, you will jump in now. But is it practicable? Is the process right? And I say that by the end of this month, there will be salary payment. It will not stand. If the local government chairman says they won't do it, it will not work. So what will happen? So when I say that the state is sitting on the keg of gunpowder, I'm very serious. I know what I mean. Okay? Now, somebody was asking if the governor, whether I know that whether the governor was taking his time. Yeah, you're taking your time in a matter that concerns budget. It amounts to gross financial misconduct to run a state without a budget. We're headed towards the end of February. So what is the difficulty? He rushed to present to 4 members, having destroyed the assembly. He rushed. So what is the problem in rushing Mark to present to 27? 27, gentlemen. Can 4 be greater than... What mathematical error will anybody see 4 bigger than 27 now? So it's something that he is hiding. He's hiding. So that is blatant abuse on the law, blatant disrespect to Mr. President, because it's contained in the 8th, that he said before the president that he will abide by, he will do everything that he said. Yeah. I don't know if you have more questions. Thank you.
Please be sure to subscribe and like our videos for updates.